Selecting computer hardware for SOLIDWORKS can be confusing. There are so many options out there, and if you're like me and not really a computer expert, it can be hard to compare all the different components. Which processor, what type of RAM, do I need a desktop, or can I get away with a laptop? So today we're going to try and make it simple and focus on the key things that actually matter in today's deep dive. When considering building the SOLIDWORKS workstation, your first choice is the form factor. Do you want a laptop or do you want a desktop? You'll pay a little bit more for the same thing on a laptop, but you'll have the convenience of portability, especially in today's evolving work environment. But if you go with a desktop, you'll save a few dollars and retain some options for upgrading and modifying down the road. In general, laptop performance has come a long way and can handle most everyday tasks, except for the largest of assemblies, simulation studies, or renders. After that, you have four main things to consider. Let's take a look at the first one, the graphics card. You want to focus on getting a professional-grade graphics card, optimized for CAD applications. The NVIDIA Quadro series or ATI Radeon Pro and Fire Pro are the main options in this area. These aren't significantly more expensive than equivalent consumer gaming graphics cards like the ATI Radeon and NVIDIA GeForce, and they feature certification from SOLIDWORKS as well as longer warranties. Compared to gaming cards, these CAD-specific cards offer better stability and reliability. Plus, you'll see the difference in performance within SOLIDWORKS. Within those classes, there's a huge range of options and price points, but I typically go for something in the middle. They'll perform great in SOLIDWORKS, and they won't break the bank. You don't need huge amounts of video memory, and you can always check the SOLIDWORKS website to validate that it's a supported graphics card, as well as pick up a recommended driver. If you're curious just what type of performance you can expect from different cards, be sure to check out our hardware guide. There you'll find which card will give you the best performance for your budget. Up next, memory. There's no need to go crazy here and stress if it's DDR4 or DDR5 or any of the other acronyms thrown around. For CAD, memory defines the weight or size of a CAD model or task that you can adequately handle. And the bigger your CAD model or the bigger your analysis project, the more memory you'll need. Today, you probably don't want to go for anything less than 32 gigabytes, and if you can afford 64 or more, go for it. Especially if you're expecting to handle large models and large simulations. One quick note, be sure to check if the memory is upgradable, as some RAM is soldered into laptop motherboards. Now, let's talk about the processor. It's so easy to get overwhelmed with options here, as manufacturers love to share stats on how fast their processor is, so we're just going to keep it simple. Don't forget that many of the tasks within core SOLIDWORKS CAD run on a single processor core. So the key here is to have the highest clock speed, that's the gigahertz number, over something with a bunch of cores. CPUs like the i9 have the fastest core count and the most number of cores, which make them an ideal candidate. But if you're looking for a better value, the i7 CPUs have a few less cores, but almost the same clock speed. And if you're doing analysis, whether it's FEA or CFD, there may be some benefit to going to 16 or more cores. Keep in mind that not all solver and problem types are efficient, and you'll definitely see diminishing returns as you add more cores. And one pro tip, it's always more efficient to make smart choices in your analysis setup rather than throwing money at hardware to solve the problem. Beyond that, it becomes a matter of paying more for incremental gains. Finally, and this is an easy one, the hard drive. You want to get a fast NVMe SSD with as much space as you'll need for your primary drive. This will have the most impact on your file open and save speeds, as well as your rebuild times. These are pretty affordable nowadays, and it just doesn't make sense to build a computer without one. You can go a lot further down the rabbit hole looking at different aspects of hardware for SOLIDWORKS, but if you get these four things right, you're going to have a very functional computer for SOLIDWORKS and not break the bank. Be sure to check out our latest recommendations in our hardware guide. You'll also find benchmark comparisons to some of the key components that we talked about today. It's a free download, so be sure to check it out. And if you have any questions, reach out to one of our hardware experts. We're here to help set you up for success. Thanks for joining me today. We'll see you next time.